6 minutes and 4 seconds plugging in my EV to charge it every month. Crazy. If you were paying at the pump twice a week, you would spend approximately Alright, I've got to make one of my videos where I nerd out and I get on the overhead rig and I try to kind of show facts or statistics about something. One thing I always hear is that how you spend so much time charging an EV. And I think I'm going to show that it's completely false. And if anything, you actually spend a lot more time filling up a gas car. So I'm going to start by going out to my Tesla. I'm going to sit in my Tesla Model 3 and I'm going to do exactly what I would do as I pulled home and would get out and plug in my Model 3. I'm going to time it and see how many seconds it takes me to get out of my car, grab my charging cable, plug it in. Because for me, that's all I have to do. Everything else is already set up in the app. And so outside of getting out of the car and plugging it in, that's all I do. Every single day, 30 days out of the month. So we're going to take that time and multiply it times 30 to see how much time I spend every month plugging in my car. Then we're going to go by the approximate national average that it takes to fill up a gas-powered car and see how long it takes approximately every month to fill up a gas-powered car versus an EV. So click like, click subscribe, indulge in your life at indulgeclothing.com for the merch. And let me show you how you spend more time filling up a gas car than you do charging an EV. Let's go get in my Model 3 and see how long it takes me to plug it in. All right, so this is my 2018 Tesla Model 3, and I can say I always leave my charger right here. It's a great spot. It's completely protected, and it puts it already back here at the car because I used to hang it here, but then I had to walk up here or put it in that, but then I also have to walk up that. So unless like I'm leaving for a couple days, I just put it back there. So let's time this. Let me get in just like I would be. Here's how we're going to run this test. I have a stopwatch here, and essentially, so I'm going to start my timer. As soon as I start my timer, hit my button to open the door, walk back, plug in the car like I always do, every day, 30 days a month, and we're gonna see how long that actually takes. Gonna do it at my normal speed, not rushing or anything, so let's do this. I'm gonna click start, and open my door, get on out, walk over here, grab my cable, open this, and you heard that click. So that was 13 seconds. I didn't get to stop it in time, but it stopped at 13 seconds. Even though this is showing 15, I was like a second late on hitting it. It takes me approximately 13 seconds to plug my car in every single day. Now, let's do the math and see how long it would take if I was having to fill up gas approximately twice a week on a few different gas tanks. All right, so let me do a quick overview of exactly what I'm looking at time-wise when filling up a gas car. So first off, I decided to ask Google. Google, how long does it take to fill up a gas car at a gas station? Which she said,
on the website Quora.com, they say, I live in the US, so 6 gallons per minute is typical. I have a 20-gallon tank and normally get around 18 gallons, so 3 minutes to actively fuel. Okay. 2 or 3 more minutes to pull up and start the pump. Okay, so what we're actually looking at here is the US standard of about 6 gallons per minute, and you have to add in the fact that you have to pull up to the pump, put your car in park, turn it off, then get out of your car, walk around to the pump, take your credit card or debit card, tap it to pay or swipe it, normally put in a zip code for some annoying reason, and then undo your gas cap, take the actual pump, put it in, select which grade you want, and then it starts pumping at approximately 6 gallons per minute. Now, then once your tank is full, you then have to take off the pump, hang it back up, ask whether you want a receipt or whatever, put your gas cap back on, walk back around the car, get in, crank up, and leave. So we're gonna do this on a kind of standard test. I'm gonna have 2 different versions showing on my chart. One's gonna be an 18-gallon tank, just because that's what I had on my Challenger and that's what I remember having to fill up. Plus it makes the numbers even and a little easier. But then we're also gonna do on a slightly bigger 25-gallon tank. So that way we can kind of show what a truck would spend time-wise versus what most cars would spend. I mean, an SUV is gonna have like a 15, 16-gallon tank, give or take. Only a smaller car like a Chevy Spark is gonna have like a 12-gallon tank or
something. We're gonna add up all that time. Now, I would say on an 18-gallon tank, it's gonna take about 3 minutes to fuel, as you heard. And I would say add in about 90 seconds for getting out, swiping your payment, normally now some annoying question about a rewards card or something, typing in your zip code for your payment, etc. So we're gonna put the base time without going in the store and paying at the pump at 4.5 minutes. And I'm gonna add a minute and a half if you're walking into the store and paying cash, because I would guesstimate that you would spend about a minute and a half to walk across the parking lot, go inside, possibly wait in line, pay your cash, walk back out to the pump, and then be able to start pumping gas. So we have a base time of 4.5 minutes and 6 minutes. And then for the 25-gallon tank, we'll just essentially add a minute to each of those times, because 16 and 6, it'd be very close to adding essentially a minute. These are guesstimates, but very close to actual numbers. So we also need to get the base time of how much time I spend to fuel up or charge up my EV every month, which is 13 seconds. Well, what's 13 seconds times 30?
The answer is 6.5 minutes.
So 6.5 minutes is what I spend in an entire month. This isn't going to look good for ICE vehicles. They're not going to like this, because they've always talked about how much time we waste charging our EV. Let's get on the charts. All right, so here's my little Casey Neistat style drawn graph here. So every time that I plug in my EV, I spend 13 seconds of my life. Every time you stop and pay at the pump, so this left number is at pump. Let me actually at pump inside at pump. Just so you got it, okay? So you would spend approximately 4 minutes and 30 seconds of your life every single time you stop to fill up your car. If you have an 18-ish gallon tank and you're paying at the pump, you would spend approximately 6 minutes of your life if you're going inside and paying with cash. 2024, don't know why you'd do that, but a lot of people do. If you have a 25-gallon tank, so you're in a bigger F-150 or something like that, you would spend approximately 5 minutes and 30 seconds of your life paying at the pump, or approximately 7 minutes of your life every single time you stop and went inside to pay. Now, I'm going to have to do my numbers at per the week at times 7 and per the month at times 30. Just so we know. And I'm gonna do this at an estimate of you're stopping twice a week to fill up. So you gotta stop on Sunday to fill up for the week, and then maybe on Wednesday or something. I always had to fill up twice a week. Just for the fun of it, I'll throw in the numbers at the bottom for if you're only filling up once a week. But let's look at the per week numbers. And so there's the look per week. So per week, I would spend approximately 1 minute and 31 seconds of my life plugging in my EV every week, versus twice a week, you would be spending approximately 9 minutes of your life filling up your 18-gallon gas tank, paying at the pump, or 12 minutes of your life going inside to pay. And if you're in a bigger truck, you'd spend approximately 11 minutes of your life paying at the pump versus 14 minutes of your life paying inside. Now, let's look at it for the entire month. Man, are these some astonishing numbers. So I would spend out of a whole month 6 minutes and 4 seconds plugging in my EV to charge it every month. Crazy. If you were paying at the pump twice a week, you would spend approximately 36 minutes of your life filling up gas every month. If you were paying inside, you'd spend approximately 48 minutes of your life filling up your gas tank every month. And if you have the bigger 25-gallon tank and paying at the pump, you would spend approximately 44 minutes of your life filling up your gas tank, or 56 minutes of your life if you're paying in cash and going inside. And just for the fun of it, let's add per year. That'll be fun. All right. Oh boy, it gets even more interesting when you look at it per year. So the top number that you see here is in minutes. That's why I wrote minutes over here for you. The bottom number you see here is in hours. So per year, I would spend 72.48 minutes to charge up my EV, which would total out to be 1 hour and 12 minutes. Now, if I was filling up my 18-gallon tank at the pump, it would be 432 minutes per year, which would total out to 7.2 hours of your life spent sitting at a pump. Oh my God, I never realized how much time I actually spent filling up my vehicle every year. If you're going inside and paying, it would be approximately 576 minutes, which would total out to 9.6 hours of your life. And if you're on a 25-gallon tank paying at the pump, you would spend 528 minutes, or approximately 8.8 hours. Or if you're going inside, 672 minutes, or 11.2 hours of your life. Oh my geez, that is insane. Now, As I mentioned, I did this test off of filling up twice a week. There's going to be a ton of people that are going to go, well, I don't fill up twice a week. I only fill up once a week. Well, if you're one of those lucky few who don't have a like 30 to 40 minute commute and you only have to fill up once per week, cut all these numbers in half. So you'd still be looking at about 3.5 hours per year, or about 18 hours per month, or about, of course, 4.5 minutes per week, and so on and so forth. I'm not really going to do all that math for you. You get the idea. You spend a ton of time filling up your gas car versus just plugging in an EV every night. So I think that I've officially debunked the myth that you spend more time charging, because if you look at the gap in these numbers, even if I went on 2 trips, right? And if those 2 trips, I had to spend an hour sitting around charging, which I can tell you normally never happens. But if these 2 trips, I spend an hour on charging, that would still put my total time at only 3 hours and 12 minutes if I went on 2 road trips and spent an hour on each road trip sitting there waiting to charge. So I would still beat all of these times. And I can tell you as an EV owner, I've never really had to wait. For example, when we went to Orlando, we made 3 stops. Stop number 1 was after 2.5 hours of driving at a Buc-ee's. We got to the Buc-ee's, instantly plugged in, 13 seconds of my life, walked inside the store, went to the restroom, just number 1s, not number 2s, grabbed a drink, grabbed a cookie, checked out, walked back to the car, and the car was ready to go. So that's like just having a pit stop and wanting to get a snack. The second stop was at a Burger King. The Burger King, we needed to eat. It was lunchtime. It was 12:30. Got out of the car, 13 seconds to plug in, went inside, ordered our food, ate it, and by the time we got back out to the car, ready to go. Our third stop was really quick. Just a little boost up, took like 5 or 10 minutes. So at the end of the day, I barely spent any time really, because I don't consider the lunch stop as really spending time, because when a gas car, you would want to stop for lunch too, and you'd just be sitting there eating lunch for 30 minutes versus we were charging and eating lunch for 30 minutes. The first stop at the Buc-ee's, after driving 2.5 hours, a lot of people need a break. If you got kids, they probably need to use the restroom. So you would have ended up stopping there as well and spending that same 20-ish minutes that we were walking to and from the store and getting our snacks. So really, I feel I only spent the last bit, which was the 5 or 10 minutes at the end of the trip to charge up, which I can tell you, if you drove from Georgia to Orlando, you would most likely be spending 5 minutes filling up your car by the time you got to Orlando to be able to drive around, which for me, once I charged up, I was able to just go to the hotel and then use free charging at the hotel. So I'm sorry to do it, but I had to. I've seen so many reports, so many people saying that, oh my God, it takes so long to charge an EV, when I don't think you've ever looked at or thought of the fact of how much time you spend sitting there at a gas pump. And there's not really anything you can do. Technically, you're not supposed to get back in your car. That can create static electricity and cause a fire. You're also not supposed to leave the pump. So you're supposed to sit there and have it pumping, wait for that 4 minutes, and then go inside and get your snacks and stuff. Compared to me, like when I get to the Buc-ee's, I just plug in and go right inside. So that adds more time to the gas side if you're stopping at the Buc-ee's, at least for the wife or the husband. One of them is supposed to stay with the car. So at the end of the day, I think the myth is debunked. You can save a ton of time out of your life by switching to an EV over wasting your time standing at a gas pump. And don't even get me started on the price difference. I mean, $3 per gallon of gas versus approximately, I pay a penny per kilowatt hour to charge at my house. I'm normally only paying 15 to 20 cents a kilowatt when I'm charging on a supercharger, which 15 to 20 cents per kilowatt hour at 75 kilowatt hour battery pack is, $10, $15, somewhere in there. So I've did many videos on the difference in the cost of road trips with a gas car versus EV. So this is just another one to add to that. So I know a lot of people say this is fake, but these are the real numbers. These are the real estimates of how much time you would spend at a gas pump, getting out and doing everything. All that time does have to be calculated because it's time you're spending fueling up your car versus just driving home and taking 13 seconds to plug in. Hope you like this one. I know a lot of you won't though. Click like, click subscribe, indulge in your life at indulgeclothing.com for the merch. See you in the next one. Deuces.